In the swirling tides of consciousness, where the boundaries of reality blur into the ethereal, there lies a colossal structure, a leviathan stretching across the chasm of human understanding. It stands not merely as a construct of steel and stone, but as an edifice of the mind, a labyrinthine network of thoughts, memories, and dreams known only as The Bridge is Iain Banks's gloriously bizarre 1986 novel, the third novel in his body of work and the last of his science fiction tinged mainstream work before his output became bifurcated, with his mainstream novels continuing to be published under the name Iain Banks, while his science fiction work began to be published under the name Iain M. Banks. The Bridge is a kaleidoscope of stratified dreamscapes, with each layer holding and presenting its own profound meaning. The book fuses surrealism with psychological drama and then fuses that again with some understated science fiction. Here, Banks skillfully obscures the distinction between reality and fantasy, crafting a narrative in which every detail is important, even ones that appear insignificant and where appearances are often incredibly deceptive. The story is primarily set on a vast, city-like structure that spans an entire sea known as the Bridge. Like walking on glass before it, the narrative is non-linear and unfolds through the perspectives of what at first appears to be multiple characters. The main plot focuses on a man who has lost his memory following a tragic car accident. This man, referred to as John Orr, though his real name is subtly revealed much later, he finds himself on the bridge with no recollection whatsoever of his past life. He is undergoing non-traditional treatment for his amnesia and is under the care of a therapist of sorts named Dr. Joyce, whose methods are questionable, to say the least. Dr. Joyce harbors a keen interest in Orr's dreams, but Orr is enjoying his indulgent, pampered lifestyle on the bridge, showing very little inclination toward recovery. So, in an attempt to prolong his stay, he begins to fabricate dreams for Dr. Joyce to analyze, but it does not take long for Dr. Joyce to get privy to this ruse. And this sort of sets things in motion, narratively speaking. Orr's life on the bridge is surreal and filled with strange characters and situations that seem to have no connection to reality as we know it. While on the bridge, Orr finds himself drawn to one Aberlane Errol, the daughter of the bridge's esteemed chief engineer, and as their connection deepens, it blossoms into a passionate love affair. Orr's existence on the bridge is interspersed with dreams and flashbacks that hint at his previous life, his career, his relationships, and the tragic accident that led to his current state. These flashbacks suggest a life filled with dissatisfaction, professional compromise and a romantic relationship on the brink of failure. The novel also features several subplots that explore different aspects of Orr's fragmented psyche, each representing different facets of his identity and consciousness. Among them, perhaps the most interesting and seemingly out of place are the barbarian sequences, which are written phonetically in a Scottish dialect. These are sequences that, for me, looked like gibberish on the page, but make far more sense when I read them out loud. The barbarian's narrative involves fantastical tales that seem to reflect Orr's internal struggles and desires. These are tales that are filled with heroic deeds, comic violence, and a quest for purpose that culminates in a set piece that feels right at home in Banks's Culture series. As the story progresses, the distinctions between the different narrative threads begin to blur, suggesting that the various elements of the story, the bridge, the barbarian's adventures, Orr's past life, and his present existence, are all interconnected facets of Orr's journey towards self-discovery and reconciliation. The novel's climax brings these disparate threads together in a moment of epiphany for Orr as he confronts the truth of his existence and makes a choice that has the potential to completely redefine his reality. This is a deceptively complex novel that serves as a rich substrate for the exploration of some weighty themes, central among them being the exploration of identity. John Orr wakes up on the bridge without any memory of his past, a sort of tabula rasa, and his journey is a metaphorical quest for self-discovery as he navigates through various aspects of the bridge, each representing different facets of his psyche. This theme delves into the existential question of what truly defines a person. Is it their memories, their actions, their relationships, or is it something more intrinsic? Banks also plays with the concept of reality throughout the novel, challenging readers to question what's real and what is a product of the mind's inner workings. The world of the bridge, with its fantastical elements and ambiguous nature, serves as a perfect backdrop for this sort of exploration. The novel suggests that reality is subjective and can be altered by our perceptions, memories, and desires. These explorations of identity and reality are themes that resonate throughout all of Banks's first three novels. In The Wasp Factory, Frank's journey is one of self-discovery, culminating in a shocking revelation that forces a reevaluation of his identity. Walking on Glass involves characters whose perceptions of reality are skewed by their personal obsessions and delusions, questioning the very nature of their existence. The Bridge explicitly tackles the theme of identity through Orr's amnesia and his quest to understand himself in a place that straddles the line between reality and fantasy. In each novel, Banks challenges readers to consider how identity is constructed and the role that external and internal realities play in this process. But Orr's journey across the bridge is not just a quest for identity. It's also a process of healing and transformation. The physical and psychological trials he faces serve as catalysts for personal growth, forcing him to confront and come to terms with his past, including the traumatic car accident that led to his amnesia. This theme highlights the human capacity for resilience and the potential for rebirth through adversity, suggesting that true healing comes from within. While hopeful, the resolution of the novel is just a bit ambiguous, but in Banks's 1993 thriller Complicity, there is an Easter egg of a passage that not only connects the two books in an unexpected way, but also hints at a happy ending for the Bridges protagonist. The name Or is actually an intentional nod to Joseph Heller's Catch-22. In Heller's novel, Or is a character who is perceived as insane, yet he possesses a determined resolve to flee the atrocities of war. This reference adds depth to Banks's character by paralleling his quest to escape the Bridges' surreal challenges with Heller's character's attempts to dodge the very real horrors of war. The Bridge also stands on the shoulders of another Scottish surrealist amnesiac fantasy, Lanark by Alistair Gray. These two books share a profound exploration of surreal alternate realities intertwined with the gritty fabric of Scottish life, presenting a compelling hybridity of fantastical elements and stark realism. Both novels navigate through intricate, non-linear narratives and employ fantastical, allegorical landscapes. Banks's vast city-like bridge and Gray's dystopian city of Unthank to dig deep into themes of identity, existential crises, and societal critique. These parallel universes serve as metaphors for the protagonist's internal struggles and critiques of contemporary society, blending the personal with the political in a distinctly Scottish context. The use of surrealism to explore deep psychological and social issues in both works highlights the author's innovative approaches to storytelling and their contributions to Scottish literature. So let's address the elephant in the admittedly clickbaity thumbnail. Is The Bridge a secret culture novel? No, not really. But The Bridge undeniably contains elements that Banks would later use in his culture novels, making it a sort of progenitor to his sci-fi work. In a 2007 interview with SFX magazine, Banks states, "The setting of The Bridge itself and the mucking about with time and settings is semi-SF anyway, but there is a mention of the knife missile in the last major Barbarian episode, and the flying castle is, of course, a spaceship. That one knife missile mention has been enough for purists to claim that, technically, The Bridge is a culture novel. Tenuous, I'd say." There is an incredibly memorable scene in Use of Weapons, one of my all-time favorite novels, that features the use of a knife missile to devastating effect. And in 1998's Inversions, Banks writes a culture novel that is, again, very subtly so. But Banks himself did not consider The Bridge to be a culture novel. However, if you subscribe to Bart's literary theory of the death of the author, not even Banks can tell you that this isn't a culture novel. I love this book. It's so weird and wonderful, and while it definitely takes a handful of chapters to get your bearings, I promise everything comes together in the end. In a 2008 interview with SFX magazine, Banks himself professed a particular fondness for The Bridge, stating he thought it was the best of his own books. While my personal assessment might not elevate it to the very top of his oeuvre, it definitely holds a prestigious spot among my favorites from his bibliography. Have you read The Bridge? If so, what are your thoughts? Let me know down below. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I upload a new video every week. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, read on.